Welcome to the Window Wisdom Podcast, your guide to replacement windows and more. Hi, I'm your host, Ted Kirk, and this is Window Wisdom, episode number 31. And I have our producer here, Rebecca, with me.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about
noise reduction or soundproofing your windows or all the above.
Windows and noise reduction.
Yes.
So,
and believe it or not, this is actually one of the reasons. It may not be the most common reason, but we found lately it's becoming more prevalent. People are wanting to replace their windows because they want more noise reduction in their home. So
there is a reason we're talking about noise reduction.
Yes.
Well, and I think in general, people want to replace to keep out outside noise, but I mean, I guess that could work for inside as well.
I guess if you got a kid in band who's practicing the drums
or something, newborns.
Yeah, newborn babies. I feel like I've heard that. People live close to a busy highway or an airport. So trains. Yeah. It works both ways. They're just wanting to either keep the noise in or, keep the noise out.
Well, I'm glad we're talking about this because I think this is an important topic to set proper expectations on the front end so our customers can be happy with their projects.
Yes, because I think sometimes it's kind of a vague concept. Like as a homeowner, I may think, okay, this new window or this new door is going to be completely soundproof. And if the proper expectations aren't given on the front end, I can either be unhappy or happy with my project at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So, well, I guess before we start talking about the specifics of, noise reduction and how you measure it, is there such a thing as a soundproof window or a door?
I'm going to venture out and say no, there's not. I think there's too many other things to deal with in your house. So, eliminating sound completely, I think, is an unrealistic expectations. I had an old trainer one time that told me, hey, if a person has 3 dogs barking next door, they may only hear one. The point is you're going to hear
something.
Hear the
dog, right?
Just like nothing is completely 100% airproof or waterproof. This is not a submarine. Some of the same aspects that make a window energy efficient also go into making it more sound reducing as well. So we'll see a lot of those same aspects of the window being tied to noise reduction as energy efficiency. So it is important to get a window that seals up tight, but you've got too many other factors with your ceilings, your walls, the insulation level, the noise level, the decibel level of the different sounds, the frequency of these sounds. When you get into noise reduction in general, it's a complicated topic in general. Yeah. And then when you tie in, windows and the construction, it muddies up the water even more. So
yeah, because there's so many areas where sound is coming from. It's not like sound only gets into your home through your window and your door openings.
And unfortunately, most homes are designed to allow sound in, and it can be from things as very subtle as bath fans, vented soffits, just the way we drill holes to put pipes in. We drill the holes bigger than we need to. So we're allowing a lot of sound to enter our house just through the construction process.
And I know, we even saw a situation where, because we don't require the homeowner to do all their windows or doors at once, even if we don't replace all the windows or doors in that room, you've got some windows that are new and some windows that aren't. So something as simple as not even doing all of the windows in the room can affect that.
That can certainly make a difference.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the things that we can guarantee.
Okay.
Basically all of our windows are tested for noise reduction, and we use 2 different categories of testing numbers to come up with, and we can guarantee that our windows meet these specific numerical values when it comes to noise reduction. And the first one came out back in like 1970. It was the STC sound transmission class, and this will measure how soundproof the the window is, or the material is. So how much sound does it block? So STC typically covers a frequency range that goes from 125 to 4,000 hertz. Now, STC stands for the sounds transmission class. You would think, well, why is one number not enough? And one thing that they realized through the STC process was that it did not capture a lot of the lower frequencies. So they came up with something called the OITC, which stands for Outdoor Indoor Transmission Class. And this is also going to rate how well the barriers block sounds, but this has an emphasis on the lower frequency noise. That would be like from airplanes and trucks, heavy equipment. If you like the big thumping bass music, these would be your lower frequency. So this number would be more representative to understand with an OITC rating versus an STC rating.
And just to kind of put that in layman's terms, because I know that can sound super technical if you've never dealt with this. Whether it's STC or OITC, they both are basically numbers that tell you how well, in our case, the windows and doors are being a barrier for that sound. So
that's correct.
The higher the number for both of them, the better it is at reducing sound.
That's correct.
To put
they're on different scales.
Yeah.
Primarily, we deal with STC ratings. Just to kind of give you some examples. So a standard double pane window that has double strength glass, and we'll talk about this in terms of double strength glass because that's a standard in all of our windows. So each glass is at least 3.1 millimeters thickness. If you understand how sound is measured, it's actually measured by pressure. And this is measured by decibels. Decibels, can let you know how loud or not loud that a noise can be. So, for example, if we're looking at something that has 10 decibels, we'll just use that as a starting point. If you add 10 decibels to something, your human ear is going to sense that as being twice as loud. Versus if you take 10 decibels away from something, it's going to seem half as loud. And we can't, with our human ears, pick up a decibel change of just a few decibel points. So you actually have to go into a whole nother category to reduce a certain number of decibel points before it's going to be noticeable by the human ear. So what we do from standard double pane, double strength glass, that's 3.11 or 3.1 millimeters thickness. What we'll do is we have an STC OITC glass, and
that's kind of confusing. I just kind of want to let our listeners know the STC OITC, those are ratings, or I'm sorry, terms of measurement for sound reduction. But that's also what Infinity calls one of their upgraded glass packages that is for noise reduction. So when Ted's talking about the STC OITC glass, that's what he's referring to.
That's right. Yeah. And how they've made this glass more sound reducing than normal glass is it has a thicker interior pane than the regular double pane option. So that interior pane on this window is going to be 4.7 millimeters.
As opposed to the 3.1 of the
exactly.
Double strength.
So that's going to break up the frequency of these noise waves. So it'll definitely quieten it down. How much, you could be within 4 or 5 points.
Right.
And again, that's right on the cusp of even being noticeable. So want to provide people with another option. You can actually add a layer of glazing. And we do triple pane glass through what we call laminated glass. And we'll take an inner layer and sandwich two pieces of glass together. And that total glass thickness will be 6 millimeters thickness. So you'll have one side that'll be 6 millimeters thickness, and then the other side will be your standard 3.1 millimeters thickness. So not only is this going to add a piece of glass and thickness layer to increase this noise reduction, laminated glass is also widely used for security related areas as well, where somebody may be prone to a break-in or they need strengthened glass for a hazardous situation.
So the dual benefit of security and
noise reduction.
Yeah.
So if that's the biggest concern somebody has, they may want to go to laminated glass, and we can get up to an STC rating of in some cases 32 to 35, depending on the actual type of unit.
Right. And then of course that kind of circles back to what we were talking about at the beginning. These numbers, we have the numbers and they've provided them for us, but we have to keep in mind that there's just other factors that are at play besides these numbers. And each situation is different.
Absolutely correct.
Well, what would you suggest or recommend to a homeowner who says, hey, Ted, I'm struggling. Noise reduction is a priority for me or is a concern for me. Like, what should I do when it comes to my window or door project?
Well, I think in general, you need to take a whole home approach. Don't just go in and think that replacing your windows are going to solve the problems. Replacing windows, we talk about on this podcast many times, the return on investment that we get between energy savings and comfort and things like that, maintenance savings. There's a lot of reasons to replace your windows, but I would suggest that you don't just replace for noise reduction. If noise is the only thing, there's nothing wrong with the existing windows, then one of the biggest things that you can do is put a storm window on the outside. So you may not even need your windows replaced. Now, obviously, if you've got leaking and maintenance issues and rotting problems and stuff like that, you may want to replace them and then add another layer of storm if the noise reduction is not to your satisfaction. I would also recommend a whole home audit. Now, this isn't something that we do, but I know that there are many companies out there that will audit your home, pressurize your home, and determine where air and sound is leaking out. And then once you do a home audit, you can seal it up, and that's a good start. And then, like I said, last resort would be putting a storm window over an existing window. That would definitely increase your noise reduction.
Yeah. And I guess the thing is, I don't want it to make it sound like you're not going to notice any noise reduction. Because the good thing is we have had homeowners say, wow, like it's so much more quiet in my home. We just want to make sure that the proper expectation is set on the front end to where you aren't expecting sound, like a perfectly soundproof window, because we want to make sure that you're happy at the end of the day. So
that's exactly right. And you have created some new information that you're able to share with people. I'll
share it below the podcast. Check below for some links. But we have some data on the Infinity Ultrex fiberglass window and the STC OITC numbers. So we definitely love to share that with our listeners. So take a look below the podcast and we'll share those with you.
All right.
I think that's all we have today.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to the Window Wisdom podcast, be sure to click below and subscribe. And I guess we'll see them next time on the next episode.
Yes.
Take care. Bye.